So always got a backup.
Well, and we've learned a lot about Zoom in the last few years, haven't we?
We certainly have. We are live. It'll take just a few minutes for people to jump on and let us know where they're watching from.
Okay.
And we'll make sure that everyone can hear us and see us. We had that problem the other day too. Uh,
Mm,
they could hear us, they couldn't see us.
nice.
That was well. So, and there's typically about a 30-second delay on comments coming on. So that's, I don't know, the price of technology and being able to communicate all over the world. Ah, there they are. Hi, Diane. Hi, Lisa.
There's Diane.
Yep.
Lisa.
Yeah. And some other folks are jumping in. So we'll get started straight away. Welcome, everyone, to another Facebook Live in support of the Healthy Dog Expo. If you do not have your expo tickets yet, get them. If you don't have your hotel room yet, get it because the room block is going to go away, I think, on May 10th. And the uh, the price goes up on the room. So I want you guys to get the best possible price. So call the Marriott, fill out the reservation online at the link from the website. My guest today is Melissa Boland of Four Legger, who produces the most awesome shampoo, skin coat products out there. And she's going to give us some education that I think we're really going to benefit from. So thanks for taking the time out of your schedule, Melissa.
Absolutely. It's great to be here. Great to visit with you again and
Yeah,
see you in person in a couple of weeks.
very soon. Very, very soon.
Very soon.
So before we went live, we were chatting about some of the myths and misconceptions that people have about shampoos and how much picking a shampoo shouldn't be rocket science, but people have a hard time, don't they?
Yeah. Marketing is really good.
Yeah, and when the marketing is good, the products, well, your mileage may vary.
Yeah.
Um,
And I guess it's not a bad thing that people are so trusting. You want to have trusting people in the world and not suspicious of everything, but at the same time you still have to do your due diligence
yeah.
and
Well,
make
and you
sure.
have to know your dog and know what your dog's skin and coat really need
Yes,
because
absolutely.
using the wrong shampoo on them is a potential disaster.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So a couple of things, like we said before we really started, is shampoo really shouldn't be rocket science. It's not that difficult to figure out, and it's the easiest thing. I mean, when people think about, oh, do I vaccinate my dog or not? Oh, do I feed my dog raw or not? I mean, shampoo is simple compared to those, but it is one of the things that you also have to get right if you want to have a fully healthy dog.
Hmm.
It works in conjunction with eliminating all the other stuff that's in their environment and in their life. So, um, just really basically, shampoo. There's only two different types of cleansers
Hmm.
that you can get. One is soap, very high quality, 100% pure soap, like Four Legger is, and
Hmm.
the other is a detergent.
Okay.
And that's it. There's not anything that's middle ground.
Hmm.
There are some detergents that aren't as bad as others, but the majority of them are made from synthetics. And so they're ingredients or substances that have been reacted with chemicals over and over and over again.
Hmm.
And then factoring in for byproducts of that process and waste of that process, and then contaminants that can actually be made because of some of those reactions. And if manufacturers aren't really good about going and cleaning the product after they finally get it, um, you have no way of knowing. And honestly, I would say most manufacturers that use a detergent based shampoo they don't know themselves. They're outsourcing the cheapest synthetic ingredient, SLS or whatever that they can find. And they don't care how it's been processed or manufactured, because if they did, they wouldn't use it in the first place.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. No brainer.
It's just really important to understand that there's really only two different types of cleansers. And so if you're in the camp that feels like soap is old fashioned, it's not modern, and it can't be a really good thing because you could get a burn from lye.
Yeah.
Well, maybe 400 years ago you could, when they were cooking it in cauldrons, out in a farm somewhere. But we have modern methods too, and everything is controlled to a particular heating point and everything. So there's really nothing about modern soap that is bad as long as it's made with organic ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
And that whole process is called saponification. That is the process of making soap. And it's basically when you mix oils, we use vegetable oils, with some sort of not a lye, but the word just went out of my head, an alkali.
Okay.
Okay. And so way back when, it used to be lye, and so when grandma was cooking it over a cauldron, you never knew if all of that was cooked out of it or not before she called it soap.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, it could mess up your skin because it could be too acidic. It could be too alkaline. It could be a number of things. And so, if you want to make bar soap, you use sodium hydroxide. And if you want to make liquid soap, you use potassium hydroxide.
Okay.
So we obviously use potassium hydroxide, which is a naturally occurring element. There's nothing manipulated about it or synthetic about it. And in the final product, there is none of it remaining. So we can actually test for that to make sure that it's all cooked out.
Yep.
So that's how you get a really good high quality soap. Is it starts with organic ingredients, and then the process of saponification has to be correct so that it's all reacted out. The alkali is all reacted out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just a point that I'm trying to make more. To me, it's very obvious. You got two different kinds of cleansers, and it's this or this. And so, if you're in the camp where you think that soap is not a good cleanser, or that there's things about it that you should be concerned about, your only alternative is to go detergent.
Yeah.
And then you're stuck with synthetics and every other kind of carcinogen and toxins and things that can possibly be in a single bottle of a product. And you really don't know what you're getting.
Yeah, I can imagine. And half the time you start reading it, you can't understand it. It's biochemical gibberish.
Right. It's all very, chemical sounding names, or they have them for a reason. They're chemicals,
Yeah, exactly.
And you have to know how to research those things, and it's not been easy to do, which is one reason why we made our pet shampoo ingredient database, which takes we're still adding. We always add ingredients because we think we have everything, and then somebody will email us and say, you forgot this.
Yeah.
But I think there's over 1,000 in it right now. And
I mean, guys, this thing will blow you away if you haven't seen it.
It's
awesome.
Most of the ingredients that are found in shampoo products or soap products, shampoo products mainly, and it will give you back 3 criteria. It's a really easy search process. You basically have your bottle in front of you, and you just use a drop-down menu to get to the name of the ingredient that you want to research. And what you're going to get back is 3 criteria. And the criteria are, is it a natural ingredient or is it a synthetic ingredient?
Okay.
The only options.
Mm-hmm.
And the second criteria is it safe? And the third criteria is, could it be certified organic?
Okay.
Not, not everything that could be certified organic is, but this is just a hard yes or no. Could it even be certified organic?
So
And
we show them.
based on that second thing, is it safe or not? Then if it's no, we provide a list of references that show what health risk, particularly in dogs, that particular ingredient has been associated with, so
Yeah.
that you can decide for yourself. You can look and see, okay, well, this is a carcinogen and it's a known carcinogen, so no, I don't really want that on my dog.
Well, let's show them, shall we?
We shall.
We shall. Absolutely. Let me find my tab here. So I've selected my tab. Sure. There we have it. So this is petshampooingredientdatabase.com.
Yeah, it's just exactly what it is. So,
Exactly. So
and
here it is. This is what you're talking about. Is it natural or synthetic? Yeah.
right. Yeah. So you can just kind of at a glance. We tried to use this smiley face to frowny face
Yeah.
emotion or emoticons, and then the green and red and yellow colors just to kind of be visual.
Yeah. Yeah. Very simple.
Yeah, it's because it took us forever to put this thing together.
Oh, I
This
bet. I bet.
this was actually the COVID project.
Yeah.
When we weren't going out and doing anything, and I was cleaning closets and then also my computer, and I found all of this ingredient research that we had done when we were first developing four-legger, which
Mhm.
we're getting ready to go into our 9th year, and that just kind of blows me away.
That is mind-boggling.
Um, and I thought, we've got all of this fantastic information that people should have. It's information that they need, and it's information that we have. We just need to figure out a way to compile it and make it available for people to use as a resource. So when they're, really trying to do the best that they can for their dogs and make good decisions, healthy decisions for them, that it's not having to go back to college to
That works.
to understand how to research an ingredient and know what it means when you do get to the information, then to be able to interpret it and understand what it actually means.
Yeah.
So this was kind of
Shall we look up an ingredient?
yeah, and actually something that we've been getting a bunch. I don't know. You can always tell when stuff's going around the internet.
Oh yeah.
We've been getting questions about tear-free. Is your product tear-free? Is your shampoo tear-free?
Yeah.
And so I did a little digging around. We researched this a long time ago, and kind of the urban legend that was going around about tearless or tear-free shampoo was that manufacturers were putting Novocaine or lidocaine in it to numb the ingredients that would otherwise totally.
So is lidocaine in here?
No, it's and that's a totally false. I mean, that's a 100% urban legend. Somebody just made that up. It sounded good.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't put lidocaine and Novocaine in your eyes,
No.
not if you want to keep your vision. So,
what should we look up? What's a good example?
so I looked at the big one. Everybody goes to Johnson and Johnson.
Yep.
And I'm not usually one to call out a specific brand, but I don't mind calling them out.
Well, they've used it in their advertising so much.
Yes, and they actually did do a reformulation a few years ago, and because of some of the claims that they were making, and they cleaned it up a little bit, but it's still pretty bad. I found they actually have a PDF of their full ingredient list, and I did find that, and they're kind of proud of it, and I don't know why. These are my notes about it. I wouldn't be proud about it.
Yeah. So what's their first ingredient?
So the very first ingredient that's listed is, of course, water,
Right.
which, that's
No
nothing
surprise
wrong
there.
with water. Nothing wrong with water. But then the next is decyl glucoside. It's DECAL, and that's if you choose to drop down from that, you can see it's a synthetic ingredient, and it's a relatively new ingredient. It's decyl glucoside and lauryl glucoside are ingredients that are derived from glucose. So they're pretty benign. They don't sting. They're not irritants, and that's what they use to be able to avoid some of the other ingredients that would irritate the eye.
Okay.
Okay. So, but they're new and we don't really know that much about them.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of things. It's a new ingredient. Everybody thinks, oh, that's great. Phenyloxyethylene, for preservative is
Sure.
a new recent one. And it's, you know, it's kind of losing a bit of its glimmer. So that's, we have to give time. So, it's not a terrible ingredient. And then the next one that's listed is sodium methyl cocoa taurate. Yeah.
Sodium methyl. Can probably get to it from there.
Yeah, just click on the S and then you can scroll down.
Oh, sorry, I meant.
That's the easy way.
Yeah.
And again, that's a new chemical. It is synthetic also.
Wow, look
And
at all these.
yeah.
Holy
And
cow. Here it
the
is. Okay.
the
So,
main issue with that is that it requires many chemical reactions to get that ingredient. And
uh-huh.
so you're back to the cleaning process again of, okay, we're all the byproducts and all the the residue left over from the chemical reactions cleaned out of that before it went to the next step.
Hmm.
And average person doesn't know that, and
Right.
nobody. So um, kind of the the jury's still out on that one also. Um, so, and these are listed in, of course, the order that they
Right.
have the most volume or the most concentration in, just like food ingredients. If
Hmm.
it's mostly corn and then it goes from there, it starts with what there's the most of, and shampoos are the same way.
Yeah.
Um, the next one is sodium cocoa. You can just
And just to do the
the S, yeah.
COC. I don't know. Does it take us right to the
It just do the drop down on S, and then you can scroll down to it, and they're in alphabetical order.
right
In the S's,
sodium
sodium
cocoate or cocoa sulfate?
cocoa isothianate.
There we go.
Okay, so again, a synthetic.
Hmm.
So I mean, already after water, the first four ingredients are synthetics.
Yep.
So there's the main volume right there, and that one does already have a reputation of being a skin irritant. So it might be easy on the eyes, but it could bug your skin. You know? So
Okay.
why go that route? And then the next one is a very common ingredient, cocamidopropyl betaine. That's in just about every shampoo that you look at the ingredient list. Coca
Oh,
midopropyl
with us.
betaine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just. Not propylene oxide. Tell me if I've gone past it. I must have.
COCA,
Cocamide, yes.
cocamidopropyl betaine.
Oh, there it is. Oh,
Might be coca.
this is
Yeah.
nasty.
Yeah. So another synthetic. Um, it has a reputation for causing contact dermatitis and irritation of the skin.
Hmm.
Um, it also This is the one that everybody loves. That is, it was derived from a coconut.
Well, that's
Yep.
nice.
By the time you get through all of the chemical reactions that you
There's
did,
no
you couldn't.
coconut left.
There's no coconut left from it, and part of all of those reactions creates nitrosamines, which
Mhm.
are known carcinogens.
Yeah.
So don't be so proud of that ingredient. Just because it once was a coconut, it's not nothing to write home about now.
It's nothing cocoa therapy would be having.
It's nothing cocoa therapy would even pass a
Cons-
second glance at.
Yeah.
So
No.
I mean, and they would be insulted if somebody wanted to buy their coconuts
So
to make this
they would
ingredient.
they wouldn't sell them. No.
Exactly.
They would
They
they
would.
would say no.
They would.
No.
So, you know, and that cocamidopropalbutane, that is probably the most common um, cleanser. That's a synthetic that is a cleanser. So that's the detergent part of it. All of these are detergents that
Yeah.
we've talked about so far. They're all synthetic detergents. So nothing natural at all.
Nope.
Um, the next ingredient is glycerin. Glycerin's a good, that can be a really good ingredient. It's usually um,
Vegetable based.
made from vegetable.
I
Yep.
always think of saddle soap as glycerin.
Yeah.
Uh,
Is it?
yeah,
Okay.
the glycerin bars that you use to clean your horse tack and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, ironically, or not ironically, but interestingly, glycerin is a byproduct of the saponification process.
Mm,
So when we're making our soap, it separates into glycerin and the saponified oils.
right.
And a lot of manufacturers will that aren't in it for health reasons, they'll take off the glycerin
Hmm.
and repackage it and sell it separately because they can make money off of it. So
Sure.
they'll
Sure.
sell it to people that are needing glycerin for something that they're making.
Else. Yeah.
And yeah, and so what it leaves is if you take it out of the soap when you're making soap, it makes kind of a harsh soap. It's not going to be a very soft. And so we add every bit of it back in. We
Yeah.
don't siphon any of it off. We add all of the glycerin right back into it, so it makes a very very soft, very smooth product.
Yeah.
And that's the way it should be in our world. So the next ingredient is called polyquaternium. Now, see, I've been doing this for 8 years, and I still can't pronounce these names without looking at them,
Yeah.
and even then, I can't. So this is where it gets in.
Polyquaternium.
Yes,
Quaternium.
10. Yeah, polyquaternium, and it might have a 10 after it.
Yeah,
So,
not here, but has links to non-reproductive organ toxicity.
and so the way to read that is sensory organs. Your eyes are a
Oh.
sensory organ,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So it's just about as much what they're not saying as what they are saying.
Yep.
So it's not that they're using, some kind of numbing agent to numb down all these ingredients. It's more what other ingredients they're using
Hmm.
that may have that might not cause your eyes to sting, but it could affect vision. And there's a study out there. I couldn't lay my hand on it for this, but I'll get Angela to find it for me.
Hmm.
Um, but there's a link between some of these ingredients that affect sensory organs, that in puppies they will prevent normal visual development. It just actually destroys the enzymes in the fluids in the eye, and it can disrupt visual development.
Yeah.
And in senior dogs, it can cause cataracts.
Wow. Wow. That's
So
terrible.
yeah, not good at all.
Oh. And Diane comments that when she thinks of people that bathe their dogs in Dawn dish soap.
Yeah,
In my world, there is only one purpose for Dawn dish soap beyond the dishes, and that is if you've got motor oil or the equivalent. That's the only reason to get that out.
Right. If you have an animal that was involved in an oil spill,
Yep,
by
that's
all means break out the Dawn, one time and get them cleaned off and then be done with it.
yeah,
But yeah, it's
that's
it's
nasty stuff.
yeah, it is. But it's cheap, you
Yeah,
know.
well, and people have it on their counter, so they
Yeah.
just grab it.
Oh, well, this will clean them. I'll use this.
Yeah, exactly. It'll clean them all right.
It will. So then after that one, if we're getting into the sensory organ thing, so the majority of the ingredients
Mhm.
are the first three are so far maybe benign at best. We don't really know because there's not enough time that they've been used, and then we start really getting into some of the nasties. So now we're hitting the sensory organ things. So PEG, the PEGs,
Mhm.
PEG. Um,
Peg 20, peg 120, peg 150.
yeah, there's 20, 40,
All these
60.
rare cases,
Yes. And those are also associated with sensory organ toxicity.
or as they say, non-reproductive organ.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, and then this one also is has been linked with a not clean version of it being contaminated with 1,4-dioxane,
Hmm.
which is a very, very bad
Yeah,
carcinogen.
yeah,
It's outlawed, in a lot of countries, and we still have it. So, um,
crazy, just crazy.
it is crazy, and so that it doesn't get any better. We've already been through all the good ones. That
Yeah,
now we have the disodium EDTAs. That's
yeah.
another sin. The problem with disodium EDTA, it helps absorption.
Hmm.
So it's an enhancer. It's what they'll call what's an enhancing ingredient, and it enhances by making whatever else is in that product be absorbed quicker. Well, you don't really want a lot of that stuff to be absorbed at
No,
all. It's less quicker.
yeah, less rushing it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's another ingredient that they're kind of proud of. And then the sodium, the benzoate, sodium benzoate, um,
Not.
that's another synthetic that's really bad. It
Mhm.
can it when it's made, it can create benzene,
Oh
which
no.
is a known carcinogen, and it's also related to allergies and endocrine disruption. Um, so just no. I
Just
mean,
no.
why? Just no.
And sodium benzoate is in everything, every shampoo I've ever seen.
It is.
Uh,
Yes, it is. And in a lot of things, even foods for preservatives and things.
Preservatives and stability. Yeah.
And
Crazy.
the the next to the last ingredients is citric acid.
Oh, let me get to the C's. This thing is slick. You should be very proud of this.
Well, I hope more people will
Here we
become
go.
familiar with it and
Yeah.
start to use it. Citric acid is really the ingredient that they use to tout that it is a tearless shampoo. It makes a tearless shampoo. And the reason is that citric acid is a pH adjuster.
Aha.
So
Neutral.
they can manipulate it so that it hits right on that magic 7, which, pH is a range. It's not a number,
Right.
on a range. It's a range. And they can hit that 7 so that it's not going to be irritating to the eyes.
Yeah.
And it's that's the primary ingredient that companies that make tear-free claims will use is citric acid. And it's just, it's just not a good ingredient because it's manipulating the pH even of the other ingredients. I mean, nothing works in isolation,
Right,
right?
right. Yeah, wow. And I have a solution. Just don't get soap in your dog's eyes.
Well, right.
I
I
mean,
mean,
be careful.
right. And that's kind of my I still have that knee-jerk reaction every time I get that question. It's like, well, if I get soap in my dog's eyes, if I get your soap in my dog's eyes, is it going to hurt? Like, well, if you got it in your eyes, would it?
Yeah,
I mean, if you have a squirmy dog, then use a wash rag and wipe around the face.
yeah.
I mean, you can still
Stay
use soap, but
yeah.
don't.
A sponge, a washcloth.
Which is another interesting thing. Humans are at a disadvantage visually than dogs are because they have this nictitating membrane.
Right.
So a third membrane that is an autonomic response. If something is getting ready to get in their eye, this thing comes up. It's from the inner corner of the eye, and it goes all the way across the eye, and it protects
Yeah.
the eye membrane from anything that could get in it. But a splash is inadvertent and
Right.
it's sudden. So you may or may not have time, a dog may or may not have time to get that protective measure up.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, then it's up to the pet owner then to rinse the eye out and just use water, or even saline solution is better, better than water, because you don't really know what all's in water either.
Right. True.
Saline is the most consistent with natural tears,
Mhm.
and it's kind of a soothing thing. So it's not a bad thing to have on hand just in case, to rinse your dog's eye out. But then most dogs that end up with a red eye, or just looks horrible, it's because the owner didn't stop them from rubbing it.
Yeah.
They're going to rub it.
Absolutely.
So you part of the prevention of it developing into something else is just don't let them rub it.
Right.
You have to pay attention to that. And so I guess the bottom line becomes then, if our shampoo gets in your dog's eye, yes, it's going to be uncomfortable for a little while, but it's not going to potentially cause them to have cataracts, and
Right.
it's not going to cause them to have visual development issues as they're young puppies getting old. So, pick your poison there.
And be careful.
Yeah.
Diane has a great observation. She's using your shampoos. But I'm not familiar with Earthling shampoo bars, but they have a lot of the ingredients we just looked up in them. Have we heard of Earthling shampoo?
I've not. I've
Okay,
heard.
well, since we have the expert here, Earthling shampoo.
Yeah, I'll have to look that one up. I'm not familiar with that.
Okay.
The biggie is, I'm really going against my grain here calling out names, but
Well,
I'm kind of.
here's Earthling. Can you see it?
Let me pull it up on mine. I can't have C anyway. But
Okay. Well, I'm looking at their shampoo bars on the screen with everybody. Oh, they're kind of aesthetically pleasing. They look like rocks. Very nice colors. Plastic-free shampoo. Great for all hair types. No SLS or harsh stripping ingredients. Cruelty-free. Okay, well, their marketing department is doing their job.
yeah,
Here
they're
are the
hitting.
ingredients: coconut oil, apricot seed oil, panthenol, aka vitamin B5, glycerin, sodium cocoa isocyanate,
Yep. That one would be
Cetyl
in.
alcohol. No, there should not be alcohol in your shampoo. Citrus medica lemon peel. Okay, lime peel. I mean, it doesn't look as horrible as the Johnson's baby shampoo, does it?
No.
I just happened to pick the selected sweet sandalwood formula.
Broma. Right. Well, fragrance, that's an alarming thing.
Yeah, that's just like
You don't know what's in fragrance.
We don't know what's in fragrance. No.
Most fragrances can have up to several hundred different constituent things in it, and you just don't really know what you're getting. Yeah, I mean, those don't look horrible, but here's the deal. What would be the deal breaker for me? This website looks fantastic, looks great. They present everything in a way that makes it look desirable, but they're not certified organic.
No.
And that, a lot of people will think, well, you don't have to be certified organic. Well, no, you don't. But if you're not, then your customers that are buying your product have no way of knowing for sure that
no external verification.
Yeah,
looking at the about page to see if they place any sort of claim like that, but they don't.
I don't. I mean, and here's the thing. I mean, Fourlegger is the one that takes the hit financially for being certified organic.
Right.
We don't pass that along.
Right.
We don't pass that expense. Our shampoos are all very comparable price wise.
Yeah.
To any detergent based shampoo that you want to, want to pull forward. So we're not. That's been one of our commitments from day one, is to make it so that if somebody wanted to buy something, that they knew for 100% sure that every single ingredient was listed, that every single ingredient was grown organically, which actually means by definition within a 3-mile radius of the crop, there are no pesticides, no herbicides, no any kind of insecticide or anything like that that could have come into contact with the crop. So just by having the organic standard behind Fourlegger takes all of that guesswork out of every other company that's out there. Basically, you're taking you're taking their word for it,
and some words are better than others.
Well, and it may be that they did list all of their ingredients. I mean, it might not even be that, but they probably don't know, with all of the different processes and chemical reactions that have been done to get to that, if those final ingredients that they bought to use to make their shampoo are clean.
Right.
They probably don't even know that.
Yeah. This ingredient that Diane put up, the Behen trimonium methosulfate.
Yeah.
Just punch that in your ingredient list. It's synthetic. It's not safe. It has links to allergies and immunotoxicity, along with developmental or reproductive toxicity at moderate doses.
Yeah, let's get that one.
Yeah. Let's jump on that.
Yeah,
that's crazy. That is crazy. And they want you now to expand into human products.
That was actually going to be the first thing. And it was kind of neck and neck, because, Henry Clay, I was more mad about Henry Clay, my dog, getting cancer than I was about myself getting cancer. And he didn't survive, but he inspired Fourlegger.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, that's, but we have had it on the back burner this whole time to do a human thing, but good grief, then you get into the FDA and all this other levels of
Well,
regulation, and it's just really hard. But here's the thing: all of our products are certified to a minimum of the food grade standard, which is human
right.
grade.
Which is human
So
grade.
this is what I use. Go ahead and use it. This is what I use. I don't have any idea how many two-leggers there are that are dipping into their four-legger stash.
Mhm. Yep.
That's and just routinely.
Yeah.
It's funny. There's a few people that'll send pictures, and because we're always saying send a picture of your dog getting a bath with four-legger, and so they'll take it one step further and show a picture of them sudsing up their beard or whatever
Yeah.
with
Well,
the shampoo.
it's a clean shampoo. It's clean. It's a clean soap. That's
It's
all.
it's what I use for shampoo. It's what I use for body wash, and it's what is in foamer pumps at every sink in my house
Yeah.
for hand soap. I mean, it's the only thing. It's the only soap product that I have in the house.
Well, and as Diane said, we're washing our hair with this stuff, and then you're in the shower, and you're covering your entire body in
Mm-hmm.
these chemicals,
Mm-hmm.
and
Exactly.
you know that's huge. And I mean, think of professional athletes who might shower twice a day some days.
Right.
I mean, all of a sudden you've got massive exposure.
Exactly.
And
And
our dogs get bathed, you know, once a week to once a month, once every 6 weeks, depending on what their coat style is. That's less exposure, but it's still significant.
it's less exposure from a bath, but it's more exposure from environmental toxins that they're out running around in and getting covered
Sure,
in, and they
sure.
probably should be getting bathed more
Yeah,
just because of that.
yeah,
Um,
without doubt.
but not some dogs or some people think letting their dog go take a dip in the pond or the river is a bath, and
Or the chlorinated swimming pool.
yeah, probably helps a little bit, but every now and then you just need a good cleaning.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and that kind of is, if do I have time to talk about another
Sure,
little thing? Okay.
sure.
Um, I think most people know by now that skin is the biggest organ. It covers our whole body, and there's no getting away from it. If if you don't like your skin, too bad, you're stuck with it for the rest of your life. So, um, it's really, and we've heard a lot of things in the last few months about the skin biome and all this, and it's really an extraordinary organ when you think about it. Yes, the biome is important. I mean, if you kind of think about that as an ecosystem, and everything has to be in balance for it to flourish, that's great from an external standpoint. But the miraculous thing about skin is it's bidirectional. Toxins go in, are absorbed in the body, but then the body also sheds internal toxins out through the skin.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's definitely a two-way organ, as far as how it is able to absorb and shed
Mm-hmm.
at the same time. So it's not surprising that we see the skin really as the battlefield. I mean, it is the absolute battlefield when there's any kind of immune disruption, regardless of the source. It plays out on the skin, and you wind up with an itchy, scratchy, flaky dog.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because, their immune system has been disrupted. Might be a gut, might be trying to shed some kind of heavy metals or whatever. We don't really know. But it makes it even more important for people to take and use the tools that are easy to use, like shampoo. Why would you add to that burden at the skin? And while toxins are trying to get flushed out and shed out, why would you add another layer of synthetics and detergents to that, which is only going to thwart, the whole goal?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
kind of, it's just a simple thing that people can do, and it doesn't, it shouldn't really take a committee or a family vote or
Whatever it takes. Uh,
it's just
Janet brings up a good point. You go to the groomers now, and the groomers have, what is that system where it like puts the shampoo through the hose and everything?
a sudsor. Yeah,
There's a name for the commercial one. It's really it's very, it speeds up your whole process.
right.
But they put that hose into this 5-gallon pail of crap shampoo because they
Mhm.
need to have a certain type of shampoo that can go through the unit and that rinses out cleanly. So when you switch to the rinse cycle, and it's like, oh my God, I wonder what's in there.
Right, right.
And then they switch to their conditioner, and who knows what's in that. And that, sometimes they're leaving it in a bit. It's wild.
Yeah, and a lot of people have learned, and I think a lot of it is because we've tried to really push it. But take your shampoo that you want used on your dog to your groomer. I mean,
Yeah.
they don't have to use their sudsing machine, and
Right.
it might be a little bit out of the norm. Now, I do know a lot of groomers that use our shampoo in their sudsing machines,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't, it doesn't require any more cleaning or any more,
Yeah.
maintenance or anything than other shampoos do. And so we just really encourage people to take, it's your dog. And if
Yeah.
if they don't want to use what you want used on them, then it might be time to find a new groomer,
Exactly. We're hardcore here, folks.
We are. I mean, I don't mess around.
I mean, yeah, this is our dogs we're talking about.
That's right. That's exactly right. So,
It's going to haunt me now, the name of that system, but
I know I can't think.
it's
There's two or three different ones.
this has wall mounted
Hydro-
and hoses and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, and it's a high tech thing, but
It's not Waterloo, Diane.
there's one groomer that it's Waterloo. Is that
It's
it?
not Waterloo.
Oh, okay. Um, there's one groomer that is a wholesaler for a four-legger, and I tell you what, I give that guy all kinds of credit. He's up in New England,
Mm-hmm.
and he he lives in a community that has very hard water,
Yeah.
and he just figured out how to make it work.
Ah,
Whether he had to add a softener, whether he had to, use distilled water or, boil the water. And he was just so committed to it
yeah. To make
that
it work.
he would do that because he knew it was for the benefit, of the dogs. It was for their long-term health.
Right. Right.
And that's kind of something that, um, talking about the skin as a battlefield, um, it still surprises me. I guess it probably always will surprise me that people that have a 6, 7, 8-year-old dog, well, all of a sudden my dog got sick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not all of a sudden.
It's been building.
It's been building and it hit the tipping point. And
Yeah.
so now you see the evidence of everything that has been done and put on and used on that dog that has come to this point in time.
Yeah. And I mean, I see dogs that, age 5 or 6, they're looking old.
Mm-hmm.
You look like a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old dog. And no, 5, 6. And it's cumulative, the exposure to stuff.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing that we get a lot about is just briefly essential oils. People, you find the myths running around the internet. You're killing dogs with essential oils. And yeah, well, they'd be dropping over.
Yeah. It's like if all meat was that dangerous, no butcher would survive.
Right. Oh, that's a good one. I'm going to remember that.
Yeah. Yep.
um, but yeah, we get that a lot, and oh, I forgot where I was going to go with that. But essential oils are the only natural fragrance there is.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just be really clear about that. You've got manufactured fragrance, which can have hundreds of different
Sure.
constituents of ingredients in it, and then you have essential oils. And so we are really proud of the research that we've done in order to make sure that we're combining them properly, that we're not exceeding any kind of recommended concentrations of essential oils in the total product, that we're using them in blends, because you never want to use a single essential oil on yourself or your dog.
Mm-hmm.
It should be part of a blend, at least a 3-part blend. And it's, I don't know. I guess it just surprises me that people will throw natural under the bus
Yeah.
in exchange for not natural, but that is marketed as natural, and they believe that over what is actually natural.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, and so I want to be sure I have this right. The sample packs at the expo, that's essentially those 2-ounce ones
Yeah, there's actually going to be a full set of the sample packs in each bag.
in each gift bag. So another reason to buy your tickets, guys, you are going to get the full sample pack, all 4.
Yeah, and that's I think that's $18, on the website. So that gives you a good opportunity to try out
Yeah.
the 4 of our our primary line. That's just kind of the basic line.
Mm-hmm.
One of each of those 4. So
You'll have them in your hot little hands.
yeah, we will.
Yes, it is incredibly generous. Um, and there was a question before about do you have a product for a dog that got skunked? Do you have
Lemongrass. Yeah, the lemongrass
grass
and
help?
aloe. The basic one, the lemongrass and aloe shampoo is really good for dogs that have been skunked.
Because that is supposedly the hardest scent, if you will, biochemical. It's a biochemical to get off of anything.
Right.
I mean, it just persists everywhere.
It does. And dogs are different and their coats retain things. Some dogs retain things, harder than others. So
Mhm.
it may take more than a bath. But the good thing about our shampoo is you can use it daily if you need
Yep.
to, and you're not going to risk exposing your dog to any kinds of harmful chemicals in the product that you would not want to use that frequently.
Yeah. And of course, the ever present question everybody's getting into shopping this year. I think this is going to be the expo that's about shopping.
We're gonna do like we did last year,
Mm-hmm.
which was I'm trying to think. Yeah, it's we have found it to be very effective. We will have a promotion, through the event, and it'll actually start a couple of days before and run a couple of days after, so that you'll get the sale prices and everything that are event only prices. But purchase them online, and then we'll ship them to you, so you don't have to carry
Because
around a whole bunch of
I
stuff.
know the cocoa therapy ladies were very concerned about any liquids if someone was flying.
Right.
I apologize.
Yes.
This year, inside information behind the scenes at HQ here, I rented a storage unit because I have so much stuff to give away. And so I'm hopping online and I'm like, which storage place is close to the hotel? Has it at a good rate? And so I put reservations, like I want to look at this. And then I picked one. Well, the other 2 places that I made temporary reservations, they keep calling me. They're like, your reservation, you need your storage unit. And I'm like, I got one. But they just call. So I apologize.
Yeah.
Yes, the storage unit.
The storage unit. Well, I'm not surprised you need a storage unit because unless you have the biggest front porch in New York
No, no.
for
And
all of this stuff.
last year I actually gave away to a local training center Charlie Bear treats and sent a bunch of treats. And I said, yes, you can send me treats for the bags. And then I got a call from this trucking service who wanted to know where they wanted them dropped. And I'm like, on my front porch. And they said, no, they're on 2 pallets.
Oh my.
So I'm like, what are they giving me? You cannot drop pallets in my driveway. So it turns out the training center is in a warehouse and they have a dock. So I'm like, can you guys please just take these?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like a lifetime supply of training
They
treats.
still have some. They still have some there, and they're giving them away to everybody.
Wow.
Um,
Well, the 2 ounce, so we replaced the 4 ounce was the small size that we had before. And part of the reason that we did that was because it couldn't fly, in the
yeah,
cabin, it has to be under 3 ounces. So
right.
it,
And
it
if
makes it a good giveaway kind of an item, a good item to use for marketing, and then a relatively inexpensive way to experience 4 different shampoos if you get the sample pack
yeah,
um, all at once. So
yeah. And Bonnie wants to know what you recommend for yeasty skin on dogs. Some
peppermint tea tree, yeah, our peppermint tea tree shampoo is fantastic for any kind of fungal or bacterial or any kind of skin issue that might be going on. It works kind of at the skin level, even more so than the others, because the combination of the peppermint essential oil and the tea tree essential oil
mhm.
are going to work to be an inflammatory right at the skin level, and then also to help to normalize sebum production, which a lot of times overproduction of sebum is what can get the the
Yeah,
skin backed up a little
yeah,
bit, the pores backed up, follicles backed up, and it becomes hard for you to be able to clear any kind of a yeast situation. You want to keep it dry, not use a product that has a conditioning component to it necessarily, because that's just going to hold moisture up to the body, and you're trying to keep it dry so
yeah,
that you can, because yeast will thrive in a moist, kind of environment, but it will not survive in a dry.
right.
So it's not going to dry the skin out. It's just going to make it so that yeast aren't going to be happy living there, and it's going to help to clear that really well. We've had a lot of the veterinarians from the AHVMA and some different things. I mean, that's what they're using as their medicated shampoo
That's
now.
fabulous.
Yeah,
I know I got is it Dr. Bonner's or somebody's peppermint soap. And it's just so refreshing
hmm
when you use it. It's just simple bar soap.
yeah. Well, we're looking at some new product development this year. Some of it, I will say, I can't say anything for sure yet, but our single biggest request is going to happen this year.
Oh, good.
Um, and probably the second biggest request that we get will at least enter the development phase, I think, this year. So
How long does it take to get a product from conception to being ready to ship?
a long time, because the first thing that we have to have is a recipe, obviously, and then we have to do make tests of that, and it has to be done in a facility that is approved by the organics program to
Right.
to handle and process certified organic ingredients. So it's not like we can just go to the kitchen, and fix something up. Um, and so then we have to, when we that usually goes through, 3, 4, 5 revisions of the recipe, a final review to make sure that all of the ingredients are within the recommended dosages and concentrations and nothing is out of line there.
Yeah.
And then we have to develop a label.
Right.
The label actually has to go to the organics board for approval.
Approval.
And that can take, on a new label, that can take 5-6 weeks just by itself.
Wow.
Because they're meticulous
They
about
have to verify everything.
They got to verify everything, and then we have to source the ingredients, then make sure that they match what has been approved to be used, which basically means they have to be certified organic, and then we have to take it to production. So it can take,
Ways.
I think the quickest we've ever gotten anything out was 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
That's a lot.
and then it's an ongoing process. I mean, I'm not sure people understand the commitment to the organic program. If and Cocoa Therapy will attest to this.
Mm-hmm.
It's an annual thing. So every single product that we sell, every single product that they sell, has to be recertified every single year.
Wow.
And
That's huge.
The size variations as well. You can't just take the 2 ounce. Oh yeah, that was just certified, so that's good for the 16 ounce in the gallon. Nope, they all 3 have to be done separately, and it's not inexpensive to do that. But like I said, we take on that up front because we want people to know for sure that what they're getting when they buy 4-legger is exactly what's in that bottle, is exactly what's listed on the label, nothing more and nothing less.
Yeah. And that's why you are my shampoo of the expo.
Woohoo!
Well, you can't, the commitment to quality and, being true to your label, that's huge. That's huge.
Well, it's something that, we will never ever compromise on. I mean, we would pull a product if a supplier fell through and we couldn't, we could scramble and get something and slip it in and nobody would ever know but us,
Yeah,
no.
but that's not who you are.
It's not who we are. And even more than that, where the pocketbook sits, which is, where most people make their decisions on. I don't know if people know this too, but the organics program has a penalty. If we make a claim that is not consistent with the organic standard that we're meeting, and they find out about it and they research it and find it to be true that we did make a false claim, we're subject to an $18,000 fine per bottle of product.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Who does that? Nobody does that but us in Cocoa Therapy.
Absolutely.
Because, that's how important our dogs are to us and our pets. 4-leggers now kind of the ferret and the rabbit and the hamster and the horse and the
yeah
shampoo for all. So
yeah. Well, Melissa, I can't thank you enough for giving us so much of your time.
Oh, no problem.
And you're way beyond generous with the gift bag. So I'm so excited to give that to people.
Well, we're very, very excited to be there. I'm looking forward to hugging some necks and, having some good reunion time too. So that'll be great.
Definitely. So we'll sign off, guys. I will be back on Thursday with Dr. Trina Hazza or one of her colleagues from Animal and Plant Scientists talking about CBD and cannabinoids. Take care, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.